Have you ever fallen in love with a little dog, only to spend every single evening pulling hair off the couch, off your sweater, out of the vacuum cleaner, and even out of your morning coffee? And on top of that, has anyone ever walked into your living room and asked, "Do you have a dog?" before they even saw one? If either of those has ever happened to you, today's video was made for you. We are going to count down the top 10 small dog breeds that truly do not shed and do not carry that heavy dog smell many people associate with owning a pet. But this is not going to be another list where we just repeat the same tired facts you have already heard 100 times. Every single breed on this list comes with real history, real science, and real research, including a few facts that surprise even lifelong dog owners. We are also going to explain the actual science behind why some dogs shed and smell, and why others simply do not, using real studies, not guesswork. Before we get started, if you enjoy learning true, well-researched facts about dogs, animals, and the natural world, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and tap the little bell icon right next to it. That way, you will not miss any of our future videos, and it truly helps our small channel keep growing. Now let's get into it. Before we count down the breeds, let's talk about something almost nobody explains correctly, and that is why some dogs shed heavily while others barely shed at all. For a long time, people simply assumed some dogs had fur and others had hair, as if that were just a random accident of nature. But scientists who study dog genetics have actually identified the exact genes responsible. A major study published in the journal Science, partly funded by the American Kennel Club's Canine Health Foundation, examined more than 1,000 dogs across 80 different breeds. The researchers discovered that just three genes, known as RSPO2, FGF5, and KRT71, control almost all of the coat variation we see in dogs, including length, curl, and texture. Later, researchers at Cornell University discovered a fourth gene, called MC5R, which controls how heavily a dog sheds. Dogs with a certain version of that gene shed very lightly, while dogs with a different version shed heavily, almost regardless of breed. In simple terms, low shedding is not magic, and it is not really about fur versus hair the way most people assume. It is a specific, identifiable genetic mutation that affects how the hair follicle grows and rests. So when we say a breed does not shed, we are really talking about dogs that carry this particular genetic combination. Now, here is a fact that genuinely surprises most people, including many longtime dog owners. There is no such thing as a truly hypoallergenic dog. This has actually been studied in real medical research, not just repeated as folklore. In 2011, the American Journal of Rhinology and Allergy published a study that measured the main dog allergen, called CANF1, in the homes of 173 families who each owned one dog. The researchers found no meaningful difference in allergen levels, whether the family owned a breed considered hypoallergenic or a completely ordinary shedding breed. Even more surprising, a follow-up study in 2012 found that poodles, the breed most people consider the gold standard of hypoallergenic dogs, actually had some of the highest allergen levels found directly in their coat and hair samples. Meanwhile, Labrador Retrievers, a breed most people assume would trigger allergies because they shed constantly, actually showed lower allergen levels in that same research. Dr. Tanya Elliott, an allergist and spokesperson for the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, has explained that somewhere along the way, the fact that a dog does not shed simply became confused with the idea that it must not cause allergies, even though shedding and allergen production are two very different things. So please keep this in mind as we go through our list today. Every breed we mention is wonderful for reducing loose hair around your home, but if you have severe allergies, we always recommend spending time with that specific breed in person before bringing one home. And finally, let's quickly talk about dog odor, because this is another area where the real science is more interesting than most people realize. That familiar doggy smell mostly comes from sebaceous glands in a dog's skin. These glands produce an oil called sebum, which keeps the skin and coat healthy, but it also carries its own natural scent. Here is the key detail almost nobody knows. Breeds that were originally developed to swim and retrieve in water, like Labradors, Golden Retrievers, and Newfoundlands, were bred to have water-repellent coats, which means their sebaceous glands naturally produce more oil to protect them in cold water. More oil means more of that classic doggy smell. Small companion breeds, on the other hand, were almost never bred for swimming. They were bred to sit on laps, guard palaces, or live indoors alongside royalty. Because of that, many of them naturally produce far less oil, and therefore, far less odor. This is one of the real science-backed reasons certain small breeds smell so much cleaner than others, and it has nothing to do with luck. All right, now that you understand the real science behind shedding and smell, let's begin our countdown, starting at number 10. Number 10 is the Yorkshire Terrier. Most people today only know the Yorkie as a tiny pampered lapdog, often seen in a purse or a sweater. But here is something almost nobody realizes. The Yorkshire Terrier was not originally bred to be a companion at all. In the mid-1800s, during the Industrial Revolution in England, Scottish workers traveled south into Yorkshire looking for jobs in textile mills and coal mines. They brought small terriers with them, and these tough little dogs were put to work hunting rats and other vermin inside the mills and mines. Tight, dangerous places that required a small, fearless dog. It was only in the Victorian era that upper-class women began to notice the Yorkie's long, silky coat, and the breed transitioned from working ratter to fashionable companion almost overnight. As for shedding, the Yorkie has hair that grows continuously, very similar to human hair, rather than fur that grows to a certain length and falls out in cycles. This is why Yorkies shed so little and produce so little loose hair around the home. They do, however, need regular brushing and trimming to prevent that long hair from matting, so while they do not shed much, they are not a wash-and-forget breed. Number 9 is the miniature Schnauzer. If you have ever wondered why this breed has that distinctive bushy beard and thick eyebrows, the answer is not fashion, it is function. The miniature Schnauzer was developed in Germany in the late 1800s as a farm dog, specifically bred to hunt rats and other vermin around barns and stables. That thick facial hair actually served as protection, shielding the dog's face and eyes from bites while it worked. Farmers even allowed the beard to become slightly matted on purpose, because the tangled hair formed a protective barrier against an angry, biting rat. Today, of course, the miniature Schnauzer is simply a beloved family companion, but that wiry, low-shedding coat is the same one their working ancestors relied on for protection. Because the coat is wiry rather than soft and fluffy, it traps loose hair instead of releasing it, which is part of why miniature Schnauzers are considered such a clean, low-shedding breed. They are also known for having very little of that classic doggy odor, especially when their coat is properly maintained. Number 8 is the Maltese. This is genuinely one of the oldest toy dog breeds in recorded history. The Maltese is mentioned by name in the writings of ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, including Aristotle himself, and archaeologists have found artwork in Egypt dating back to between 300 and 600 years before the birth of Christ that appears to depict this very breed, treated almost as a member of the royal family. In ancient times, the Maltese was actually nicknamed the Comforter, because people genuinely believed that placing this small dog on your chest or stomach while you were sick could help heal you. Whether or not that folk belief was true, it says a great deal about how gentle and beloved this breed has always been. As for shedding, the Maltese has a single layer coat, meaning it lacks the thick undercoat that most shedding breeds rely on to trap warmth. Because there is no undercoat to blow out seasonally, the Maltese sheds very minimally, though its long silky hair does require regular brushing to prevent tangles. Number 7 is the Shih Tzu. The name Shih Tzu actually translates from Mandarin Chinese to mean lion, because during the Ming and Manchu dynasties in China, this breed was deliberately bred to resemble the lion, an animal considered sacred and symbolic of royalty in Chinese Buddhist tradition. For centuries, Shih Tzus were raised exclusively within the walls of the Chinese imperial palace, cared for by palace eunuchs, and it was actually forbidden for ordinary citizens to own one. Some historical accounts even suggest that anyone caught trying to take one outside the palace grounds could face serious punishment. Like the Maltese, the Shih Tzu has a long, flowing double coat that grows continuously rather than shedding in cycles, which is why the breed produces so little loose hair. However, because that coat is thick and grows constantly, Shih Tzus absolutely require frequent brushing, ideally every 2 to 3 days, or the hair will tangle and mat close to the skin. We're now halfway through our list, and before we continue, I want to take a quick moment to ask for your support. If you are finding this video helpful, please tap that like button right now. It truly makes a difference in helping this video reach other dog lovers just like you. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is a perfect time. We publish new videos regularly covering dog breeds, animal history, and fascinating pet science, all researched carefully so you can trust what you are learning. All right, let's get back to our countdown with number 6. Number 6 is a breed that might genuinely surprise you because it breaks the pattern of everything we have discussed so far, and that is the Basenji. Unlike the fluffy, long-haired breeds we have covered, the Basenji has a very short, smooth coat, and it sheds so little that many owners say they almost never find loose hair around the house. But the truly remarkable fact about the Basenji is this. It is physically incapable of barking in the normal sense because of the unique shape of its larynx. Instead, it makes a sound often described as a yodel. Even more unusual, the Basenji grooms itself constantly, almost exactly like a cat, licking and cleaning its own coat throughout the day. Because of this obsessive self-grooming habit, Basenjis are famous among veterinarians and owners alike for having almost no doggy odor at all and needing very little bathing. This breed's history stretches back thousands of years, with depictions resembling the Basenji found on ancient Egyptian artifacts, suggesting it may be one of the oldest dog breeds still in existence today. Now, we do want to be fully transparent with you, because accuracy matters to us. The Basenji is not classified as a hypoallergenic breed by veterinary researchers, and while its shedding is minimal, it is not entirely zero. But when it comes to that heavy doggy smell so many people want to avoid, very few breeds compare to the Basenji. Number 5 is the Bichon Frise. This cheerful little white dog has a genuinely dramatic history of rising and falling in popularity across the centuries. During the Renaissance, the Bichon Frise was a favorite companion of French and English royalty, including King Francis I of France and King Henry III of England, who reportedly carried his beloved little dogs everywhere he went. But by the late 1800s, the breed had fallen so far out of fashion among the aristocracy that many Bichon Frises ended up working as street performers and circus dogs across Europe, a remarkable fall from royal palaces to traveling shows. It was not until after World War I that French breeders worked to formally rescue and standardize the breed. As for shedding, the Bichon Frise has curly hair rather than fur, and that curl actually traps loose hairs within the coat instead of letting them fall onto your floors and furniture. This is the same basic genetic mechanism we discussed earlier, involving the KRT71 gene responsible for curly coats. Well-groomed Bichon Frises are also known for having very little natural doggy odor, though regular brushing is essential to prevent the curly coat from matting. Number 4 is the Coton de Tulear, and if you have never heard of this breed before, you are definitely not alone, because it remains fairly rare here in the United States. Its history is honestly one of the most unusual of any dog breed on this entire list. According to long-standing legend passed down for generations, the ancestors of this breed survived a violent shipwreck off the coast of the island of Madagascar sometime in the 15 or 1600s. The small white dogs on board reportedly swam to shore and eventually bred with local dogs on the island, evolving over roughly 400 years into the breed we know today. Once established on Madagascar, the ruling Merina tribe became so fond of these little dogs that ownership was restricted only to nobility, earning the breed the nickname the Royal Dog of Madagascar. In 1974, Madagascar even released an official postage stamp honoring the breed as a national treasure. As for shedding, the Coton de Tulear has a coat texture that is technically classified as hair rather than fur, similar to human hair, which is the direct reason it sheds so minimally. That said, this breed absolutely requires daily brushing to prevent painful matting. So while you will not find hair on your furniture, you will need to commit real time to grooming. Number 3 is the Havanese, the national dog of Cuba, and remarkably, the only dog breed that actually originated on that island. Its ancestors were brought to Cuba from Europe in the 1600s, and the breed developed its uniquely soft, light, silky coat specifically to handle Cuba's hot, tropical climate, acting almost like natural sun protection while still keeping the dog cool. For generations, the Havanese was treated as a status symbol among wealthy Cuban families, and it is documented that famous historical figures, including Queen Victoria and author Charles Dickens, personally owned Havanese dogs during the 1800s. But here is the part of the story most people never hear. When the Cuban Revolution occurred in 1959, most wealthy families who fled the country were forced to leave their beloved dogs behind. In fact, the entire population of Havanese dogs found today across the United States can be traced back to just 11 surviving dogs that made it out of Cuba during that turbulent period. That is an extraordinarily small genetic bottleneck for any breed to recover from. Regarding shedding, the Havanese has a light, silky double coat, but unlike heavy shedding double-coated breeds, its undercoat is often thin or nearly absent, which means very minimal seasonal shedding, though frequent brushing is still required to prevent tangling. Number 2 is the Lhasa Apso, a breed with one of the most spiritually significant histories of any dog in the world. For over 1,000 years, the Lhasa Apso served as a sentinel dog inside Buddhist monasteries and palaces high in the mountains of Tibet. Its original Tibetan name, Abso Seng Kai, actually translates to bark lion sentinel dog, reflecting its role of alerting monks the moment any stranger approached. According to Tibetan Buddhist belief, when a lama or spiritual teacher passed away, his soul could temporarily enter the body of a Lhasa Apso while awaiting reincarnation into a new human life. Because of this deep spiritual significance, Lhasa Apsos were never sold in Tibet. They could only be given as sacred gifts. In fact, the very first Lhasa Apsos to reach the United States arrived only because the 13th Dalai Lama personally gifted a breeding pair to an American explorer in the early 1930s. As for coat care, the Lhasa Apso has a long, dense, floor-length coat, similar in texture to human hair, which sheds very minimally, though it requires daily brushing to remain healthy and free of mats. And now we have arrived at number 1, and we saved this breed for last because of a fascinating scientific twist that ties directly back to something we discussed earlier in this video. Our number 1 small dog breed that does not shed or smell is the Poodle, specifically the toy and miniature varieties. Here is a fact that shocks almost everyone: the Poodle is not actually French. Despite being officially recognized as the national dog of France, historical and genetic evidence strongly suggests the breed originated in Germany, where it was known as the Poodle, a German word meaning one who splashes in water. Poodles were originally bred as skilled water retrievers, diving into cold lakes and rivers to retrieve waterfowl for hunters, and later their remarkably sharp sense of smell was even used across Europe to hunt for valuable truffles hidden underground. That famous poofy poodle haircut you see in dog shows today is not simply a fashion statement. It actually originated as a practical grooming style, leaving warming puffs of hair around the joints and vital organs while shaving the rest of the body to reduce drag while swimming. As for shedding, the poodle's tightly curled coat, controlled by that same RSPO2 gene we discussed earlier in this video, traps shed hair within the curls instead of releasing it around your home, which is why poodles are famous worldwide for producing almost no loose hair. But remember the twist we mentioned earlier. Research published in 2012 actually found poodles carry some of the highest levels of dog allergen protein directly in their coat and hair samples, higher even than many breeds that shed constantly. So while the poodle is absolutely one of the very best breeds for keeping your home free of loose hair, real science tells us it is not necessarily the safest choice for someone with a severe dog allergy, proving once again that shedding and allergies are simply not the same thing. So there you have it, our carefully researched countdown of the top 10 small dog breeds that truly do not shed and do not carry that heavy doggy smell, from the working class origins of the Yorkshire Terrier, all the way to the surprising German royalty of the Poodle. We hope you walked away today having learned something genuinely new, backed by real studies and real documented history, not just recycled internet folklore. If you enjoyed this video, please do 3 quick things for us before you go. First, tap that like button. It truly helps other viewers discover this video. Second, leave a comment below and let us know which one of these 10 breeds you would choose for your own home. We read every single comment and love hearing from you. And third, if you have not already, please subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss one of our upcoming videos. We have many more fascinating, well-researched dog and animal videos coming your way very soon. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Take care, and we will see you in the next video.